All right, welcome everyone to the Cartographer community meeting. Remember the purpose of this meeting, different to the office hours sessions, is to actually share synchronous updates with the community on the status and what's new in the project and some other news, and also open space where users can come up and ask questions. Right. All right. There you go. Okay, feel free to add yourself to that in this list. And I would like to see if we have new faces. Well, not much. Well, Mr. Scott Rosenberg, welcome. And welcome everyone else in the team. All right, what's new in the project this week? Well, some things here. Thanks to Raj for your help. We have a new resources section in the website. It was something missing for a while, a single place to collect all the content that's being created around the project, blog posts, presentations, and also playlists for the community meetings, office hours. So we'll be feeding this space with all the content that is in the content plan of the talks that will be out there in events, etc. So we hope you find it useful. Also a newsletter. This was also in the plan for a while. The plan is to share this brief summary of, again, what's new in the project, but for the mailing list every 2 weeks. For now, with 3 sections, one around RFCs, the other around PRs and issues. I'm measuring the most active ones. I'm not, I agree that it's not the most accurate metric of the most active discussions or the actual focus of the project, but I just wanted to make these, at least this first version of the newsletter, something that I could do on my own without having to, require time from the maintainers team to fill in here. It's a kind of accurate measure of what's new in the project, what's been happening, but it's not the best, I agree. And also events, talks, training, blogs, whatever is new in terms of content will live there, right? So plan is again to release it every 2 weeks to the mailing list. If you're not there, please join the group. So you can receive not only the newsletter, but also the calendar update. Thank you, Rush. Yeah, right. If you don't have the agenda handy, it's there in the chat also. All right, also discussions, the GitHub Discussions feature was enabled for the repo, and we have our first actual discussion. Thanks again to Raj, who collected some of the talks around a question from a user in the upstream Slack channel around retrieving resources. So all the context is there, and we welcome your comments, your replies there to enrich the conversation. So I don't know if Raj would like to comment something here.
Just a TLDR. It's about being able to cause a resource to reconcile when it may have failed and doesn't seem to have become eventually consistent. Most common cause of that would probably be a tecton run because they're not designed to become eventually consistent. And people want to know how to do it. So I'd love to have a discussion about what the best way to signal those reruns would be.
Awesome. Yeah, it was interesting for me to find out that we could even turn issues into discussions, especially according to the GitHub docs, issues that are in a very early stage of development could be converted into a discussion. Interesting. All right. Thank you, Joshua. Templates can now have options.
Yeah, pretty exciting new feature. In the past, a lot of the optionality in templates has been handled by YTT templating. So we are now offering a first-class support for providing multiple options for a given template. Do we have a YAML snippet that shows that? Maybe in
Do
the
we need
linked issue.
Do we need to throw in work to do documentation and or example work for this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So an example of adding options to a template shown in the YAML block right there. You can select two different templates based on the existence of a field in the workload.
All right. That's great. That's great. Thank you, Joshua. Cool. Okay, what team is working on? Well, the best way to see this is in the actual project board. Here we have two new cards that I don't know if we should move to just open or what. Is bomb KPack used in examples and the RFC from James. Is there anything here that we need to discuss right now? This one is closed. All right. So
I don't think Zach's here, right?
no. We'll probably move to close. And the RFC, this one is a big one. Yeah, there's been some discussions there in the PR, but
yeah, I think the last comment was more about, I think there was started a discussion around like priorities and whether these things, you know, about order of things. I think it would just be good. I think we can work out priorities afterwards. If we can just find out, agree on what's correct things to be pulled out, and then we can come up with a plan of how, you know, how and who does those things. Community contributions might be able to encourage folks to help out as well. So I think if we can just come up with some kind of agreement, then that would just be a good step forward. Of course, this is also something that's kind of linked to some of the other work we want to get out in the open as well around convention service proposals that Scott Andrews has been looking at as well. So if we can just come up with some kind of plan, or something, you know, what it is that we want to move out, and agree on that, I think that would be really good.
right. And yeah, you're right, Rash. Should be on the RSC board.
I mean, it
Welcome
is tagged for RFC. I just think it needs to be taken off the development board. There is a button somewhere to do that. I just don't remember where. You have to go back to the.
Yeah, I think it's
And if you drop that
right
down,
here, remove from project.
correct. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. This will remove this card from the project. All right. Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, in terms of what's being, what the team is doing right now, we have a good summary here. This one, yeah, this one, I think there are some comments needed here. I will touch on this later on. We have tutorials work. Well, Wishuma is not here today. Also orphans and some other stuff. Does anyone else wants to come in? Something on what team is working right now? And yeah, tutorials.
Yeah, I was just going to touch on the tutorials because I don't think we've talked about them here yet. The plan is to have a series of tutorials that all build off each other, that are time boxed, that each try to achieve a particular outcome. So yeah, like the first tutorial is short, build your first supply chain. The second tutorial is going to be replacing a step in the supply chain, then adding new steps, and then creating a brand new supply chain that uses the existing templates. Yeah, it's kind of like that's basically the outline of what we want to do, all bullets right there. So.
Okay, got it. Yeah, see here, install stuff. If it does have something to do with prereqs install, yeah, that's something that it's already in the works. Cora and Scott, they are working on a blog post, I believe. Oh, Scott's here, regarding the pre-requirements installation process for Cartographer. Is that correct, Scott Rosenberg?
That's going to be one of the blog series that we're going to be doing on Cartographer. One is like how to get started and what the prereqs are in an opinionated way. I would say like KPAC, Flux, whatever, different things that are standard right now in Cartographer, and giving a blog post on how you would go about doing that. And then other ones will be on debugging workloads, and also understanding the nesting and the templates and all of that. So it's going to be a multi-part series.
Awesome.
That's
Thank you
awesome.
so much,
Super exciting.
Scott, for doing that. Yeah, that's awesome.
There is a discussion somewhere in the Slack where I think Charles Mouillard at least was quite curious about where are recommended tools to use being documented. Obviously, there is none at the moment, so that will be a helpful resource to be able to share with him and with other people who are wondering what to apply in the open source to create a truly serviceable supply chain.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also working on a repo right now of Cartographer examples that are using non-standard resources. So using Canico instead of that, using Argo workflows instead of Tecton, replacing basically every single integration that exists in the Cartographer and TAP examples into other tools just to show the pluggability, and using Jenkins and other things. So that should hopefully be out in a few weeks. I'm building like a whole set of supply chains and templates for other tooling that will be brought into the blog post as well.
It's an interesting, this IELTS sounds fantastic, Scott. I'm really excited by that. It does, in a similar kind of, I guess, thoughts process of the previous RFC, that about splitting out that repo into smaller parts, into more focused parts. One of the ideas was to split examples out. And I know that you're building up these, and people, we want to be able to encourage more folks to contribute their other examples. And so I just wondered, are those examples that you're working on, would you see that something that we could move under the Cartographer, the wider Cartographer ecosystem as a project, and then maintain as well? If we figure how we figure that out.
I am more than happy to contribute that repo when it's public to wherever would make sense and where would help the project from my perspective. So if that exists currently it's in a TerraSky based repo, if that wanted to be moved to a VMware Tanzu one or to whatever it is, very happy to, give that repo over to whoever, or if it's in mine, obviously anyone can put in a PR for new templates, and happy to include those as well. So whatever the team would like, I'm happy to do.
That's awesome. Brilliant, Scott. Okay, well, we can follow up more on that. Obviously, it's very exciting to be able to kind of build that bit more of an ecosystem around Cartographer. Examples of a fantastic way to do that. And that would be really, really good. So looking forward to it.
That's great. Thank you. All right. Follow up from previous meeting. We had an outstanding item from previous meeting was the conversation of what status of the convention service, and if there's anything we could do to help. So I think I see, yeah, Scott Andrews is here. Sorry to call you out. I don't know if you would like to comment something around that.
So going through the final hoops of getting basically final sign-offs and approvals to take code that was internal to VMware and make it public. Have all the code staged. Basically, just need to get the final approval to flip the switch and make that repository public, and then we can share that repo and start having conversations about actual source code. So soon, but not quite yet.
What's the current plan with docs? Do you have
The docs that we had, I don't think are necessarily up to par. So I want to go through and rewrite them. So that's something I still need to do.
We have a ticket in to get a Cartographer site repo, and we'll move our docs to there. So it should be the right place to pop them.
Yeah, so there's definitely docs that are in repo, and then docs that should be like published on the website.
Right.
So definitely we'll contribute docs and should be appropriate for the website to the website repo.
Agree.
awesome?
Thank you, Scott. All right. Okay, I'll open my discussion. I have my name here. Okay, it's Tanzu Tuesdays. I will be live next Tuesday on Tanzu Tuesday, right? March 1st with Cora. This is the first time I'll be publicly speaking about Cartographer. So I've been observing, listening, learning, and the plan is here to actually do the introduction to the project, the why, the ideas behind it, and Cora will do the demo. If you want to join, you're welcome to join. You will be just in backstage. No one here needs to be on camera or something like that. So if there are tough technical questions that we couldn't address, which is very likely, and if someone from you are there, will be nice. But yeah, otherwise, I'm working on refining the message and trying to make it clear for the audience out there what's special around Cartographer. All right, runnable bug. Mari put this in the upstream Slack regarding this bug that is probably not a bug, but just a misleading error message. So the invitation is for users out there to comment if you have experienced something similar to this issue. It would be nice to have a comment here. I don't know if Mari wants to.
I think we talked about it. There was some discussion on the issue, and we have a a path forward that makes more sense, thanks to Scott. So I don't think we need to discuss it.
Okay. Right. All right. Okay, I think that's it so far. Anything else you'd like to share, discuss here? Nope. All right, folks. Thank you for your time. See you next week.